Were not for the Attorney General, Mr. DeWine, and his efforts down the state. So again, I want to thank him for that. But I also want to thank the County Land Bank, because they have been a great partner of ours as they have gone throughout, not just the city of Cleveland, which was the hardest hit, but really just the Cuyahoga County. And they worked with us in a way that's really, again, provided us resources and really the operational kind of structure we need in order to be successful. So, Mr. Attorney General, County Land Bank, I want to thank you very much for all that you do. So thank you very much.
Before asking the Attorney General to come up, I did a little research. I hope it's pretty much accurate on this property. 2003, speculator buys it for $20,000. Same year sold it for $86,000, utilizing a predatory loan from U.S. Bank. $86,000, fourfold profit. By 2007, went through mortgage foreclosure, predictably taken back by the bank, flipped over to 2 or 3 owners for $4,000 each transaction, and then into tax foreclosure, and ultimately through foreclosure, through the good work of the prosecutor's office. City gets the property, we now have to tear it down. That's times thousands here, Mr. Attorney General. So we thank you for your help. Let me present Attorney General DeWine. Thank you very much.
Well, let me just say it's always good to be working with the mayor as well as county officials and land bank. Maybe just a little recap to put this in historical perspective. We all know about the mortgage crisis. One of the things that came out of that was the robo-signing scandal. The attorney generals of the country, the Justice Department, banded together, and we started dealing with these mortgage servicers. As a result of that, over $200 million is coming now back to Ohio citizens who have been victims of the mortgage crisis. But there were other victims that we felt it was important to help. And we got in our office $93 million to help indirectly other victims. And I made the decision, and I think we're probably the only state in the country that's doing this extensively, we are the only state, that we would take $75 million and use it, give it to the local communities across this state to help people in the neighborhood pay their taxes, people in the neighborhood pay their mortgage, if they have a mortgage, they try to do what's right. And yet, they see the value of their homes go down through no fault of their own. If they have children or grandchildren, the children have to play in a neighborhood where we have houses that are falling down. So they truly, people like Mr. Matthews, are truly victims. And so we have provided an additional $12 million to the county. And as the mayor said, this is not a new project for the mayor or for the county or for the city. What our money will do is just help. This is really about helping the victims. It is about carving a cancer out of our neighborhoods because our neighborhoods are not going to be what we want them to be as long as we have houses like the one that we're going to knock down today.
Certainly, thank you for coming out today. And I just want to continue to echo the sentiments of the mayor, thanking the Attorney General and for all the great effort that you've made and the wisdom of being able to set aside money for this particular issue. And this neighborhood in 2007 had the highest foreclosure rate in the entire United States. And we were averaging 2 foreclosures a day. And today's event, quite frankly, is not about celebrating demolition. It's a blight elimination that helps set the table for development that is going on. The mayor and administration spent the entire year through a vacant property initiative condemning all the properties that are vacant and need to be condemned. We'll have nearly 7,000 condemned houses by the end of the year. The importance is to be able to use these resources to selectively go through and strategically do demolition throughout all our neighborhoods. And when I stand here today to celebrate this demolition, it's celebrating the activity that's going on in our neighborhood.
Great pleasure to be here, particularly when I look back about 3.5 years ago when Jim Rokakis was then treasurer, had the vision to create land banks, very robust land banks. And here we are 3 years later, and it's all a reality and it's happening. I'm particularly grateful also to the Attorney General for seeing the need and coming to our assistance. I'm particularly grateful to the mayor, and I'm particularly grateful to the prosecutor, because what you see here today is the way government is supposed to work. In order for this to be effective and to be robust and to be strategic, government at all levels needs to be able to execute and work together. And you're seeing that in the greatest sense. You're seeing government execute in ways that help people. And we can't lose sight of what we're doing here. We're knocking a building down, but as Attorney General DeWine said, you know, there are people at the end of all of this work, and we need to try to make the quality of life for them a little bit better. And as Councilman Brancatelli said, it's not just about demolition. The land bank, because of the way we're set up and because of the cooperation and execution that occurs, we've been able to also procure the rehabilitation of just over 500 homes throughout the city through all of this collaboration. And that's very significant when you think 500 plus homes in roughly 2.5 years have been rehabilitated by the private sector. And the demolition that occurs on a strategic level is bringing value to places and to homes and to that renovation. So the money is not wasted. And I just want to commit to all of you on here that the land bank is going to continue to work with you and to make the use of this money very effective. And you've made it all possible. So thank you all very much.
Hold folks accountable in a number of different ways. Certainly through the prosecution and the work that the city has done, going after folks like Blaine Murphy and holding them accountable. The city just got a settlement from them in $250,000. We're through the Deutsche Bank settlement, working with Neighborhood Progress Inc. and the great work that Frank Ford has been doing, being able to go out and assemble all the real estate that some of these folks are holding, and likewise to the vacant property unit, we are going through and doing bulk prosecution against bulk property owners and coming back after them. So it's not just this money here, it's also money that's coming in through prosecution that both the city and the county and the feds.
I want to point out the money we're talking about here with the AG's money is in fact settlement money from a settlement with private entities and financial entities. So it's not tax dollars. Okay.
Chris, could I also add?
Yes.
When if a bank owns a property and it gets demolished, it gets liened, and it either goes on the duplicate, or we place liens, or the city places liens, and we go after those. Now, because of that, and because when a bank has a property and it goes into housing court, we have over time now have developed relationships with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Carrington, and a variety of others, where they now are voluntarily paying, in our case with the land bank, $10,000 per demolition. That covers the demolition, it also covers the asbestos remediation, and this is over time through the advocacy of the councilman, the mayor, the prosecutor. They're bringing them to the table, and they're starting to do it voluntarily. Is it enough? Absolutely not, but it's a definite good start.
Across the street, you'll see an example of that in the blue house that's poured at 6156 Morton. That was a Fannie Mae property, and through the arrangements with Fannie Mae, where they take their low-value properties and donate them to the county land bank along with a portion of the demolition, that's where the system works, because now Fannie Mae understands the importance. That's a multi-family burnt property that needs to come down, and the residents on this street deserve it to come down. And so through that relationship, we've been able to see other activities going, because quite frankly, the law that the administration passed recently, where if you own a condemned property, like a toxic, environmentally hazardous property, if you transfer it to someone else and the city ends up demolishing it, we're still going to come after you for the bill. And we're going to bill you, so the banks can't just dump property, and that's where the county land banks played a big role.
County, this home right here, what number demolition is this since the Cuyahoga County Land Bank was established?
We have done, I think, Cheryl, just over 1,300 demolitions. Now, this is not a land bank demolition. This is actually a city demolition.
Right.
But we obviously collaborate and we work together and identify them. But the land bank is up to 1,300 right now.
There's a land bank demolition, Tony pointed out, that will be occurring soon in the property just behind everything.
1,301.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Anything else?
All right, thank
Well, we
you.
wanted to switch subjects. Are we okay to talk about something else? You
Not
wanted
in
to
this segment, we'll do it off to the side.
Okay, that's fine.
I just wanted to do one more quick shout out, and I don't know if Bob Deskins is here, but Lightning Demolition is doing this demolition, and I want to really commend both the county and the city for really upping the standards in demolition. as you go through our neighborhoods, they've been very creative in making sure what we leave behind is something that we can deal with for years to come, both in terms of repurposing the land for yard expansion and or looking at it for development. So they've been very creative as they move out. It's clean fill, grass will be growing fast, and companies like Lightning Demolition have done a good job of making sure we can recycle as much of the material as we can, on top of being able to leave something better than where we started from.
Okay, thank you.
Start that bulldog.
Yeah, let's